This next story is one of triumph over fear, a woman who battled through a terrible family tragedy to defy the odds and achieve something most of us would never dream of doing.
I hated the water for many years. For 30 years, I basically avoided it. To me, it represented death and fear.
As I grew up, maybe 11, 12 years old, I started to see, how much she wouldn't want to go in the water. So if we were down at the beach, she wouldn't even tip her toe in.
Susan Berg had a crippling fear of water from the age of 15.
Total train wreck. I couldn't sleep at night because of the bad dreams that I was having. So I would stay awake all night and then go to school and fall asleep on the desk. So in the end, it was decided that it would be better if I left school.
But it wasn't always like this. She grew up enjoying the water and boat trips with her family, until an afternoon fishing trip in Victoria in October 1985 changed everything.
A full-scale police search, ending in tragedy early today when 3 bodies were recovered from the water near the northeastern shores of French Island.
I actually considered myself responsible for their deaths. For many years, I struggled with the fact that I'd been the person driving the boat at the time that it sank.
Within minutes, the boat had capsized and sunk, leaving the Berg family all wearing life jackets floundering in the water.
Susan agreed to swim to shore to get help, but it ended up being too late to save her 16-year-old brother William and parents Edwin and Valerie. At 15, she was the sole survivor.
I went on a massive trip of guilt for many years, and I didn't consider myself lucky. I wished I'd joined them for quite some time. Started hitting nightclubs, taking party drugs, totally out of control. I lost my self-respect. I just totally lost who I was as a person.
The turning point for Susan was the birth of her son William when she turned 20.
He gave me a family to belong to again, and he gave me a reason to live.
I remember when I was younger, she'd cry sometimes, but she'd always pull herself together and make sure that I was well looked after and, she was there for me.
After decades of struggling, Susan decided to face her fear by accepting a challenge to swim an open water race in Victoria. She found her coach Peter while searching online, and after hearing her background, he agreed to train her for free.
It's a heart-rendering story, and so my instant thought was, well, I've got to help this person.
It was really tough. The first 4 months I really struggled. My anxiety was really high levels. I hated having my face in water, so I actually went to my doctor and asked if I was allowed to take Valium before I swam, just to try and bring the nerves down, but she said no, that I had to just persevere.
The first session was very much an emotional session. When we spoke about her relationship with her family and how the water could be a way of rejoining her family every time she entered the water, that's when the process started.
Susan completed the 1.2 kilometre swim and quickly set her sights on something much bigger, joining a relay team swimming the English Channel.
So starting over here in Dover at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we transferred by boat over to the starting point here.
The channel is about 32 kilometres, but competitors can end up swimming much further depending on tidal movements.
We established if we had a 4-team relay, then it could be accomplished with a lot of training.
See how my head position is like that? And I'm saying, why not? When people have that desire, there's nothing you can't do if you're willing to do the work.
Susan trained every morning in the winter temperatures before recently making the trip to the UK with her teammates and son Will for the attempt.
The conditions were really rough. I think that's when I realised we're going all the way over to France, which was, in the distance, very far.
And I could hear everyone on the boat yelling at me, "Susan, go harder, go harder." So I just went as hard as I could, and my anxiety went up again and everything, but I knew I just had to keep going.
After almost 12 hours, the team reached France and Susan was the one to make landfall.
There's no better feeling than to know that nothing really can hold you back anymore. If you can accomplish or face and overcome your greatest fear, you can overcome anything.
Susan has her sights set on other swimming events and now loves the water so much she can't imagine life without it.
I think I've just found peace now. Peace with the water, peace with having lost my family, peace within myself that it wasn't my fault.